Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. I want to thank you all so much for subscribing and watching my channel. And so I've actually had these two OVA episodes saved on my computer for quite a while, and I didn't know exactly when to watch them. I was like, maybe someday I'll get to it. And I've recently hit a subscriber milestone, which is awesome. So thank you all so much. I'm really glad you like my ramblings and are appreciating the reactions that I'm doing on this channel. But just to kind of celebrate, since there wasn't going to be an episode of a certain reaction that I'm doing this week, it was kind of held off this week. I decided I'd do this instead as a little way of celebrating. So thank you all so much. But as you know, watching my channel, I review lots of different shows, whether they're action or romance or comedy. I watch a variety of different anime, but I also have gotten into a lot of BL series in the last couple of months, specifically with Given, with Banana Fish, with Twittering Birds Never Fly, with Daokusei, and other shows as well, Modao Zushi. So I've been fortunate to watch some very high quality BL series, but as I've been told, because my library is not very full yet, I've been told that there's some more problematic BL stories out there. And I thought, you know what? It's important that we still react and review to those, because we can talk about what maybe has been more modernized since they came out, maybe what's been elevated and is more nuanced than it was at the time. And one of the shows I've been told is a little bit problematic is a series called Tightrope, which is 2 OVAs, 2 episodes. They're about 23 minutes each. And so I've been told that they're a little bit problematic. And so I was like, you know what? Since I've met my subscriber milestone, and I want to review these 2 series and kind of see what all the hubbub's about. And if there are problematic elements, we definitely need to talk about them, because I think it's important that we analyze series and take note of what is maybe not the best about them, but maybe there is redeeming qualities to them that we can take note of as well. So with that being said, I have no clue what I'm getting into. I've told it has something to do with Yakuza, maybe, possibly. I've also been told it's kind of yaoi, so if this is not your thing, know ahead of time. I think there's going to be yaoi themes in it, or I never pronounced that word right. There be some of that in there, I'm pretty sure. So if that's not your thing, just forewarning. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep an open mind. And we'll see what happens. So with that being said, let's do this, shall we? We are going to look at this OVA here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh my gosh, this was hilarious, and I kind of loved it. It is not, what I was expecting, based on what some people had said, they were like, I was expecting it to be really cringy and really, kind of like, I didn't expect the jokes to land. I didn't expect it to be funny. I expected it to be kind of cringeworthy, but no, that was actually really funny, and sweet. So as far as the Yakuza elements go, I feel like this is definitely a comedy. It's definitely a romantic comedy, just with the backdrop of a Yakuza family, because there's so many parody elements, right? There's so many parody elements to that. I mean, if you think about it, you've got on the one hand the very opening scene where Ryu has the airplane and he's like the little kid going to school, and there's like a whole line of Yakuza, and he's like, I had my father and my sister and many brothers that weren't really related. And it's like, it's a Yakuza family. And it's so great. But there's that, the doors opening all in succinct. The idea of Nishijima being like, well, we were rivals in elementary school, don't you remember me? Like just the elementary school aspect, like, of course they wouldn't remember you. You're adults now. Like, that's hilarious. And it's just played for humor. A lot of the Yakuza elements are just played up as a joke. Like, that's the funny part about it. Just playing up this love story. I have a feeling this is like a 1-volume manga, like a one-shot, or a 1 or 2 volume manga that I may have to go read now. Because that's so cute. But I love the subversion of Now and Ryu, because in any other Yakuza story, your main character Ryu, he like looks buff and masculine, and he's like the hot-headed fighter. Like in any shonen, if we take a typical shonen story, Ryu's character would be this hot-headed like thug, like street, like high schooler that's always in gang fights and always getting into trouble, and he's like oblivious to sex and everything, oblivious to women and other people, and like, I don't care about relationships. But no, Ryu is like, hey, now let's do the darn thing, let's have sex right now. And I was like, wait, what? No, I'm not ready. But he's like so open with his love for Now, like to his parents, to his family, to the Yakuza gang. He's like, no, I love you Now. I want to start a family with him, become a train operator, so I don't have to become a Yakuza head, and he doesn't have to be in danger. Like, that's such a subversion. And he's like clingy and crying and like nearly jumps off a building when Now breaks up with him, or he thinks he breaks up with him. Like, he's such a subversion to like the masculine trope that you normally think of. Like, I absolutely love it. And he just cares about Now. Like, Now is his world. He's like, I don't care about girls. You're like the center of my universe. It's like, oh. And then Naoki, he is the type of character that would normally seem like really quiet, really introverted, like kind of a shut-in, that seems like he'd be the submissive one in a relationship, that would be like really hesitant about everything. But he's not. Like, he has Ryu's back from the start of it. And he's the one that proposes the whole bond ceremony, like the whole thing. He proposes it. He takes action with it. He's always there to support Ryu. And he takes charge, like during the situation with Nishijima, as much as he can. And he's not submissive at all. He's like just on equal footing with Ryu. And I kind of love that. Like, I love that dynamic. And their whole romance situation here is totally consensual. Like, they're both totally into each other. And Ryu being like, I love you, and Now being like, oh, you choose Now to say this? I love their dynamic. And for being the genre that it is, it doesn't get overt really with anything. Like, they make out and Ryu gets extremely handsy, but that's like it. And he's like, oh, I've had this fantasy of wanting to do stuff. And then, of course, his wound opens up and it doesn't work. But I'm totally, like, it's totally consensual. Now's whole reason for not wanting to have sex with Ryu has just been because he, didn't know if he wanted to get that close to him, because he was worried about, making Ryu worry about him. But at the end of the day, they both realize, yeah, even if we're apart, we're gonna worry about each other because we care about each other. So Ryu's argument is, let's just be close and then we won't have to worry about it. We're with each other all the time. It's like, okay. So that was super cute. And really, it was, for a Yakuza story, super lighthearted, and the humor actually worked a lot. The only part that gets, there is the sexual assault trope where the bad guy's like, oh, I'm gonna mess with this person. And so I'm really glad that it only got as far as it did, because I was gonna have a problem if I was like, there's no reason for that. And Ryu comes in at the right time and is like, let's kill him. It's like, and now it's like, we're not gonna kill him. He's the head of this Yakuza. That's gonna cause a whole bunch of problems. And I like, at the end of the day, they just made him go apologize. Like, Ryu was gonna kill the man, and in the end, the dad was like, you just need to apologize. And it's like, what? And the uncle, the Tachibana uncle, and all that, like, that was actually surprisingly really, really sweet. Like, their bond between Ryu and Now, that was actually really sweet. And so, like I said, I hope that if there's a manga based off it, I kind of want to look at it, because that was surprisingly funny. Like I said, I love Yakuza and mob stories, and this was almost kind of like a parody of it in a way, but it used it as a vessel for these two characters and showing their relationship. But yeah, I was totally fine with that. I was expecting it to be a lot. People said it was problematic in a way, but I was like, there was no big age difference. It was consensual. It was hilarious. I was totally fine with that. Way to go, 2012. Making a BL story that was all right. I really want to watch more BL series, because I find the reason why I'm really drawn to BL stories is because I feel like the relationships are a lot more, at least with anime in particular, and donghua, that the relationships are so nuanced. I feel like with a lot of heterosexual relationships and straight relationships, especially in anime, it's either so subtle that it's almost non-existent, or it's so intense and aggressive that it's too much. And like, for example, most shonen have if you have a heterosexual couple in shonen, it's like we touched hands and that's the most we'll ever do throughout the entire series, and then we'll do a time skip and they have 5 kids. It's like, okay, cool, great, but where was the romance? Where was like, if you like romantic stories, where was that? And I get that it's a shonen, it's an action, that's not the right genre, right? But with a BL story, I feel like that you can have these layers of the relationship and these other themes take place, and it feels more expanded upon. And then the opposite spectrum is, I've watched like Seven Deadly Sins, for example, and in Seven Deadly Sins, like, the way that romance is done is it's there, and I appreciate it on a level. There are certain aspects of relationships in that show that I really appreciate, but then in other ways, it's like I'm going to use Meliodas, for example, in that series. He like kind of gropes Elizabeth a lot and gets really handsy with her in awkward ways, and it's kind of awkward, especially as a woman watching. I'm like, but and it's not just like it's not, at least when Ryu was like getting kind of handsy with Now, it wasn't like being aggressively handsy. He was just kind of playing around with them, and now it's like, stop. But with characters in like that series, it can get a little bit like aggressively so, and I'm like, I don't know. But I guess that's what draws me to series like that, so I want to watch more in the future. It's just finding good ones, and this one was actually surprisingly fine. So, yay. I don't know if I articulated that well at all. I need to sit down and like write an essay of why I like watching BL series, and then one day just articulate it on here and drag it fully out. But yeah, that was something different, something nice to celebrate having y'all as subscribers. Thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate it. I'll have just I want to find several one-shot stories to kind of get on here as I go, but we shall see, movies or otherwise. It doesn't have to be BL, it can be others as well, but we'll see. As it goes on, we'll do something with that. But in the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. Please feel free to comment down below, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for subscribing. I hope that I can keep doing reactions and that you all keep enjoying my ramblings. But in the meantime, have a wonderful week. Stay safe, take care, and I'll be back soon with more reactions. Bye.